Hey, welcome to the Tim and Gugabe podcast. This is your host, Tim. Gugabe, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Ticking along. Yeah, it's nice to have a rare appearance by the Sagilayev of stock picking, the Carl Snyder of crypto technical analysis. Actually, a wizard.
Yeah,
Technical analysis, Tim. Yeah, how are we, Tim?
I'm good. Yes, yes. Sorry, I've definitely been the villain of why we haven't been recording lately. We've had a long hiatus. I've just been super busy with like day job and just like in general. But I'm hoping to make this a regular thing now, and I think I should be able to. So I think we'll be able to do it like every week, kind of like we were doing it before. But I figured we'd make the appearance in the McGregor card. Like I know. Um, some people talk shit on McGregor, but I mean, his fight weeks in general are just a super big event. You know, even if like whatever you think of him as a fighter or whatever, you know.
I feel like this one's not. It's probably the smallest McGregor fight week we've had in a while. A good chunk of it's the rest of the card is kind of shit. So it's like there's some okay fights, but there's nothing like massive. And I don't know. It feels like we kind of got a bunch of questions answered last time.
Yeah, what's the feel been like? I haven't. I feel like I haven't been checking social media or just like in general like stuff for like promotion. What does it doesn't feel that big? Like I just wouldn't know. I haven't really been paying attention.
Sure, it'll still sell, but like I'm involved in the wagering industry. We haven't really getting this usual volume we get from McGregor. It's just it's still it'll probably it'll still cross like probably 800,000 pay
Yeah,
per views, but wouldn't shock me if this is the worst selling McGregor pay per view.
yeah, who knows? I still feel like it will sell well. Like I was looking at just some people who are going to be there. Like there's going to be some big name like celebrities in general who will be there. So, but who knows? Like that doesn't always translate. But I don't know. Anyway, you want to get straight into the card?
Yeah, of course. Alan Amedovsky versus Hu Yaozong.
Of course, our long hiatus had to be. You know, this has to be the first fight that we do in like 6 months, right?
Oh, of course. I actually took a bit of Yaozong like plus 150. Like he's a bigger guy. Younger, and like against Coulter, he showed like solid toughness, solid output. Like obviously this isn't something to go crazy with, but I'm just kind of I said, what was that fight like 3 weeks ago with Stipe Miocic's training partner versus the guy from
Hammer versus Kennedy, whatever, or
no, 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 no. What was it? The one where it was like the guy who got destroyed by Safarov. Negru Mariano,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was Kamer versus
Negru
the.
Mariano.
For some reason, I called him Kennedy, but it's Nika. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but I kind of feel I'm kind of think Yaozong could be the Nega Mariano here, where it's like he's not particularly good, but he's probably more enthusiastic, probably a bit bigger, and it's like plus 150 was a big enough price. Obviously, plus 110 starts being a bit like who the fuck knows what's going to happen, and since he's Chinese, he could just have no bottom game, and like Amidovsky's not a good grappler, but being out grappled by what's his name, Jocko isn't exactly a fucking crippling indictment.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so like my opinion, Yazong will pass. What was the GTD ITD here? Even GTD doesn't seem awful because like I don't know, Yazong seems tough if nothing else. But again, like either of these guys could just collapse.
Yeah, like I remember Amandowski. I played Joko against him, I think, back in the day. And because then he just fought Phillips. But I remember, I haven't taped this, but I remember these guys. Like Amidovsky doesn't seem very good. He wrestled a little bit on the regionals, I remember, and his UFC fights. He just get smashed by Jotko on the mat, and then he just got like knocked out by Phillips.
Yeah, like his
Yeah,
regional type was all him just like kind of out grappling random
yeah,
Europeans, and Jotko just kind of out grappled him. Like, I think we got like minus 160 or something there when we bet it, and it just kept
yeah,
moving and going.
yeah. I think we both played. That was back in the day. It's been a while.
I remember I had to
And
fucking Jocko submission there, and it was like Jocko was doing whatever the fuck he wanted to him and just refused to go for the tap.
yeah, yeah. And then Yo Zong, I'm just trying. And then Yo Zong, I remember his fight with Coulter. That was on like the Blades Ngannou card, I think. But didn't he have like no tape going into that fight? And like like it was a big betting fight. Like
Oh yeah, it was Ram. Like, 'cause I remember I was passionately on Team Coulter, and other people. There was like fucking bunch of people on Yaozong, and like Coulter ended up winning, but it was reasonably close. He also fought Asker and just got completely destroyed, like Cyril
yeah,
Asker.
Well, what's Yozong's game? Like, I remember Amidovsky, and I do remember Yozong. I just can't remember like totally how. I remember that Coulter was just hitting him like harder. I feel, but
Enthusiastic, defensively nebulous, volume Muay Thai kind of. Like, I mean,
okay,
he had some ideas what he was doing. Like, yeah, it has been for years, and he's only fucking check how old he is. He is only well, he's free. Yeah, he's 32, and he's only 26 years old. It's been 3 years. So
yeah,
God knows. And like, he's 6'3", 72 inches. Amidovsky's not exactly a fucking huge middleweight. Like, he's bringing in decent height advantage and all that. He's probably a bigger guy. Like, obviously fighting a heavyweight in the past isn't necessarily the best indication of being an elite athlete, but if it worked for Jared Cannonier,
yeah,
yeah, Yao Zhong Hu, like, he's fought at heavyweight, light heavyweight, and now middleweight. So Jared Cannonier, clearly.
yeah, yeah. I feel like I just remember. I just don't think Amidovsky is very good. So like, and these guys haven't fought all that often, in the UFC. Like, I just feel like a random improvement or something could happen too. And in that situation, the dog's probably the better play. But I do want to just kind of look at. I want to watch some Yozong because it's been a while. Um, but moving on to Jerome Rivera and Zalgas Zumagulov. Um, I think Zamagulov's better. Like I think he's the rightful favorite and everything, but I just feel like he doesn't have enough offensive. He's not offensive enough to where he's clearly winning rounds. Where I'm uncomfortable with him like being this big of a favorite, just because like I know Rivera's not very good. He's not very athletic, but he will like just spam kicks from the outside. So just him winning like a split decision on the feet, I think could happen. But Zumagulov's a better grappler, better takedown guy, and I think he's just like probably more potent on the feet. But I just fear this could be like it's probably going the distance. Both guys seem like somewhat tough, don't have a ton of finishing prowess. So I could just see this being like a semi-close decision. What do you think?
Yeah, Zumag kind of disappointed me against what's his name, like Albazi last time. Like against
Yeah, for
Piper,
sure.
He actually gave Piper a fucking good fight, and then just like against Albazi, he just looked totally out of it. And like, maybe Albazi's just better than they gave him credit for, because like I was fairly low on
Yeah,
Albazi, but
yeah,
yeah. And like Rivera's got like 6 inch reach, 6 inch height, I think, from top of my head. So it's like he's gonna be a lot visibly bigger. Like Rivera did take round one versus Nam, and obviously Nam's also got his own work rate issues, but like. If Rivera just won this off being a bit more enthusiastic, because like I think Zalgas to cover his minus 330, he really has to be like wrestle fucking him the entire fight.
yeah, for
Like
sure.
I definitely I think there probably would be value on if we get like plus 300 fight day and like or like Rivera decision plus 500. I'm just like, how wrong can you really be?
Yeah, I think Zamagulov's very durable. Like I doubt Rivera could finish him. So like if you like Rivera, I mean, you could maybe go with his decision line. I doubt he finishes him, but I feel like the goes the distance is like decent.
Um,
What's the line on that in
minus
general?
200, minus 200.
Oh, still like
I could kind of see it. I just
I could
Rivera's
kind
kind
of
of
see it, but you
seemed
never,
a bit
yeah.
chinny, and you never know. And like even
I,
like
I rate Zamagulov's durability a lot. Like I doubt he gets finished. It's really on Rivera at that point. Um, yeah,
And like, the issue with Mag is like, if you look at his last fight against Albardi, he looked absolutely shit. But against like Piver, there was an argument that he won that fight, and it's just like, Piver's not bad. So it's like, what would Piver be against Rivera here? Like minus 500?
yeah, that's the thing. Like, and the thing is, like, Zumagulov could get takedowns here. Like, Rivera hasn't even landed one, so he has the grappling upside, which I think is important in like a striking fight. That I don't think Rivera can pull away in the striking. Like, I think he could like out busy him, but it's not going to be dominant. So a takedown could swing it. So like, I get why Zumagulov could be the favorite and everything, but I still. It's weird because he looked good against Paiva, and Albazi it's really a thing. Is Albazi a little better than we realize, or is Zumagulov not that good? Who knows?
Yeah.
I feel like he's just like a competent fighter. That's kind of it.
Because the whole thing about Barty, I was like, Alberti was kind of this like one-dimensional grappling guy on the regionals and just kind of looks shit when he fights Malcolm Gordon, who is the world's most fragile man. Um, And then I had Zumag last one against Abati, and I was like, really looked shit. I'm like, maybe Abati's just better than I expected them to be, and yeah, maybe. Like, yeah, the
Well, the
guy who
Jose Torres fight on the regionals with Albazi, he looked so bad, and that was
I
like
know,
the most relevant fight I think going into that fight. And then all of a sudden, he looked a lot better, like striking.
yeah, like both. I think we both. Did you bet Zumag? I remember.
Yeah,
Remember, I
yeah, I
definitely
did.
did.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like, fuck, like I did not expect that.
Yeah, he took over. Yeah, it was a good fight. Good fight. Credit to him. It just, yeah, it was a big step up from what he'd been. So it's just like I feel like if Zumag was coming off the Piver fight, this line would seem like justified or not necessarily justified, but like I don't think anybody would be going. It's just,
Yeah, you'd be less interested in Rivera, I feel.
yeah, it was just that we've got that sort of Zumag, that sort of bad taste in your mouth from the Alberti fight, and it's like maybe Alberti is just better than we give him credit. But even like Rivera could be better than we give him credit for. Like, Rivera lost to Minifig. Oh, not Minifig, same size Fig.
Yeah, yeah,
And got like killed by Nam, which is like, yeah, getting killed by Nam. Everybody's been killed by Nam once or twice. And Ode Osborne was a upper weight class. It's at the really short notice, and Ode Osborne is an elite athlete, if nothing else.
yeah, and he can just kill you early.
Osborne versus Carpe should be fun. Should be fun.
Yeah, yeah, I think we get it. Like, I think it's probably like dogger pass type of thing, or maybe some distance props in there.
Yeah,
But
like,
yeah,
yeah, Rivera decision plus 600 is probably the best way to play this, I feel like. But again, like if Zumag just kind of covered him, it wouldn't be shocking.
yeah. Um, okay, like moving on to Brad Tavares and Amari Akhmedov. I want to look into it a little more. I feel I'm not comfortable betting Tavares at this line. I just feel like this could just be like a grindy, scrappy fight. Akhmedov's tough, and I don't know. He'll bite down on the mouthpiece, and Tavares isn't super busy on the feet. I do think Tavares is probably like the cleaner striker, and I don't totally trust Akhmedov to out wrestle him. But I don't know. Like Akhmedov could probably keep it somewhat competitive on the feet and maybe land it like a takedown or two to make this a close fight. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, Tavares has the issue. He just fights so fucking negative. Like he's a good fighter. Like his
Yeah,
losses,
yeah, for
apart
sure.
from
Yeah,
meme KOs, are against like he's apart from his meme KO losses, he's lost to like Israel Romero and yeah, he's lost to Israel Romero, Whitaker, Edman, and Boach, and like Boach and Edman were kind of meme.
yeah,
Yeah, like Tavares. If Tavares was just fucking more interested in actually putting a stamp on fights, I'd be interested in him. The issue for my thing is just like Tavares will probably make the first round, split round, pull out to like a 60-40 in round two, and then like 90-10 him in round three.
yeah.
I'm gonna have some Tavares round 2/3 in round three, just because I enjoy screaming at Tavares to show a bit more urgency on a hobbled fighter. Um, Remember ACJ last time? Where it was like, he was badly hurt and Tavares nutshot him and gave him space.
Yeah, yeah. He
That was annoying.
yeah, like the thing with Tavares is he's I would say he's like pretty solid at everything he does. Like solid striker, he's like a decent grappler, but he doesn't just like put on a ton of volume on the feet, and he doesn't really land many takedowns. So it's like he's not going to run away with rounds. Like he'll keep them closer than he should, which that's just always an issue, with anyone who does that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, yeah, Tavares is the skill level. Yeah, I think there's a bunch of guys better than until top 5, 10 in the middleweight division Tavares could hang with just fine. Like, yeah, Brunson versus Tavares is a good fight. Hermanson versus Tavares is probably a good fight. Till versus Tavares is probably an awful fight, but nonetheless it would be competitive. But,
Oh yeah, that would be like they would land 40 strikes each, and then like everyone would be yelling that it was a robbery on each side.
the thing that annoys me is about fucking Tavares is losing to Edmen like that. Like, he should have been the perfect Edmen fight, knowing what we now know about Edmen.
Yeah, yeah. I
Like,
was always skeptical on Edmund. I wasn't. It wasn't a thing. Like when I'm skeptical on someone, it doesn't mean I don't think they can be good. Like they could turn out to be champion. It's just there wasn't enough shown, and like and still like that Darren Stewart fight was always just in the back of my head. It was like the one fight that got extended, and he almost lost. And he like hung on for dear life in round three.
Yeah, I'm not saying we knew that Edmund had the cardio issues he had, but like he was like minus 250 against Tavares, and that should have been like the spot to really check it, to really like see what he was like over 15 minutes, because Tavares has
Yeah,
historically been like super durable.
yeah, yeah, for
But
sure.
like then he kills him, and then obviously because I was bigger on Tavares against Edmund than I was on Brunson against Edmund, because of Brunson it was like a bigger risk of Brunson just being Brunson just doing Brunson things.
Yeah,
Anytime you bet Brunson, there's a 20% chance he just knocks himself out in the first minute.
yeah. He's fighting much more intelligently now. I feel like he hasn't done anything dumb for a really long time. You know?
Honestly, remember when Heinisch versus Brunson, where Heinisch fucking ran out and like fucking meme head kicked him? And
Yeah,
it was like,
and then Brunson just won every other second of the fight.
I know, but imagine if Heinisch had fucking got that KO.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
That
don't
would be
know,
really funny.
because Brunson was like plucking. I remember I had Brunson plus 200 there. And I just remember like watching that first round. And I was like, holy shit, if Heinisch just did that,
Yeah.
leave Brunson alone. I like Brunson. Brunson's a good guy now. Like, yeah, he's a bit boring, but I don't know. Always had a
You
soft spot
bet
for
him
him.
at like plus 140 versus Heinisch, which like in hindsight was an incredible bet. 'Cause I
He
think he should
closed
be
like
like
plus
minus
200. He
he should
closed
be
like
like minus
almost.
250, 300 in that fight.
Yeah, well, and Brunson, the reason Brunson plays has been insane value. Like Holland, he was like, was he dogging against Holland? He was dogging against Holland. He was plus
Yeah,
400 against
yeah.
Edmund.
I think I picked him in his last two against Holland and Shabazian. Yeah. I didn't pick I think I picked Theodoro over him just because I felt like
Oh,
Theodoro would just do his little point striking shit, you know?
I mean, Theodore did almost like it. Remember, weren't the scorecards that pretty fucking stupid? I remember there was like split,
They were semi close. I think it was 29-28. Like it was a like Brunson won. Like it was Brunson was the right guy to get the victory, but yeah.
the margins were fairly split. Again, I feel like even if you brought back Elias, honestly, I think there are like winnable ranked opponents for Elias Theodore right now, just because middleweight is shit.
Yeah, like well, Elias wasn't a bad fighter. Like
Yeah, it was very
yeah,
silly
he was
and
fine. Like he's not going to finish anyone, but like he can grapple, he can strike, and he puts up offense, even if it's kind of like gaming the system a bit.
honestly, I want to see Elias Theodore versus Kevin Holland. I just feel like that entire dynamic would just be fucking hilarious.
I just feel like those guys against anyone would be funny. So if you match them up against each other, of course it would be hilarious.
Even like Theodore versus Allen or something like that. I feel like Theodore actually beats the shit out of Allen.
He could, yeah. I'd have to think about it because, yeah, he's like a decent grappler. Yeah, I just have to think about it. I haven't seen
Theodore was more of
Theodore
a
fight
decent
forever.
grappler. Like, yeah, he fucking stuffed some decent guys from memory. Didn't he?
Yeah,
Like, he fucked up Talos Lightes, didn't he?
yeah, I
From
think so.
memory.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been a
like
while.
like I said, Talos Lightes is a better fucking grappler than our boy Brendan Allen. But anyway,
Probably, yeah. But
I
okay,
can look for the live bet here on Tavares after round one. Wouldn't shock me if Amari's a bit more enthusiastic after round one. It's like 50-50 round. Maybe I can get Tavares minus 110 after a round. But I feel like by the end of the fight, Tavares will probably pull away. Wouldn't shock me if
yeah.
there was a controversial split deck here, but like, I just don't see where's Omari's upside. I just, I just feel like Tavares has a lot more ability to really pull away here.
I think it's just the fact that he does attempt more takedowns and he lands more per 15, and like Tavares won't really like Tavares only lands like one, you know. So I could just see it being a thing where like Omari happens to land like one or two more takedowns and the striking semi-competitive. Like that's what I could see happening, right? Obviously variance could happen too, but I just see it being reasonably competitive on the feet and like a takedown or two, maybe swinging it. But I understand why Tavares is a favorite. Like he is probably the more crisp striker, especially over 15 minutes, and I don't expect Omari to like dominate him on the mat, you know. So I get it, but I'm just saying I could see a competitive fight here.
I think Tavares is a pretty elite like takedown defense and get up guy. Like he hasn't really been taken down consistently by anybody since Elias got him down briefly. Romero landed 7 takedowns but didn't do much of them.
Yeah, no, he's pretty good. Like I'm saying, I'm just like I think there's a good chance he sprawls and brawls and like doesn't get taken down or only gets taken down once and springs up. But I'm just saying if they fought 100 times, I bet Omari would probably have like you know some type of percentage where he has more grappling success, right? Um,
Yeah.
so I'm just thinking of it in that terms, just because he attempts so many, and I'm just saying like if it's a close fight, a close round, and Omari happens to land like a takedown, even if it's like 30 seconds of control, I just think it could change things. Like I could just see something like that happening. Like I'm not expecting Omari to go out there and just fucking hold him down for like 8 minutes. I'm just saying if he happens to hold him down for like 2.5 minutes over the course of 15 minutes, which is possible, it could just make things close, right?
And it's the last 45 seconds of each round.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's really hard to guess round sequencing at times. So like if I expect one guy to probably be landing, like I project him to land more takedowns, even if it's not like a ton more. It could just that could be important, you know. But
Yeah,
it's so
like
stupid because if it happens at the beginning of a round, it like doesn't even like matter. If it happens at the end of the round, you like automatically win. It's fucking insane.
yeah, agreed. Like I think the price is about right. Yeah, I think the price is about right. Like
Yeah,
I think if after round one I can get the same price or something, I feel like I'll probably have a good feel for how the fight is like structured, and B, I just think like Tavares' cardio advantage should just pull him away eventually.
yeah,
And like, yeah, I enjoy screaming at Tavares to finish his opponent in round three. It's one of those things that brings me joy in this sport betting industry.
yeah,
And Tavares just going, no, I don't want to hurt my opponent. It's just like he's dead.
yeah.
Get in there. But yeah,
Um, Maya and I. Moving on to that one. You want to take this one?
I kind of lean I here. I feel like Maya's getting a bit too much credit for like the Shevchenko fight. Like I don't think she's gonna get the top control here. And like Aya's a bit busy. Like Maya's only like outlanded one of her UFC fights from memory,
Yeah.
and that was against Modafferi, who was just like couldn't get the takedown and was fucked. Um, like yeah, that was just dynamic. And like Maya, you know, she's a counter striker. She doesn't really do that much. And I don't know. I think Aya's a bit longer, a bit taller. I think a bit better at controlling the range. I just think Aya's you know, I would maybe like give Aya like minus 120, minus 130. Again, this is probably going to a controversial split decision, but I just can't. I feel like Aya should just be busier.
Um, I just think it's going to be a close striking fight. You know, like I think it's going to be
Yeah.
like a 29-28 split thing. You know, I I will say if this was like 2 fights ago, I would be like, what the fuck with this line, you know? But I do think I like Calderwood, I'll give a pass on because like her kicking game's different, and these both like I and Maya, you'd agree, are both like more boxing based, you know? So Calderwood's like more kicky, outsidey. Like I think I'll give her a bit of a pass on that one. But even the Calvillo fight, she kind of got outboxed, you know? And she got outlanded in that fight 105 to 69 at distance, and she was like getting outstruck. I think we all expected Calvillo to have the grappling upside, but she even outstruck and I just felt like that was kind of surprising to me, you know? Um, which like I don't know, because I picked her to upset Viviane Arajo, and I thought she looked like regular Jessica I in that fight. And then I just felt like against Calvillo, she looked kind of bad. But so I will say that. But like even with that, I wouldn't minus 210 for Jennifer Maya whenever her striking ratios aren't that great. And I expect both girls are very, very tough. Like you'd agree, I and Maya are two of the more durable women fighters like in this division, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so like it's gonna go the distance. I mean, a farm like pretty often, I would say, unless it's some stupid like cut happens or something. And it's probably going to stay on the feed. So it's just like, I don't know. I don't want a minus 210 ticket on Maya when it's probably going to the cards and it's probably going to be standing for like 13 of the minutes.
Yeah, and just my thing is just with Maya. Just apart from Modafferi, she hasn't really consistently like cleanly won that many UFC rounds or anything like that.
Yeah. No, no, I
She just
agree. Yeah.
doesn't do much. Like maybe she's turned over a new leaf and she becomes a control grappler now that she's had that success against Shevchenko, and like that's the only way I could see her covering minus 200 really.
Yeah, but she doesn't even attempt over a takedown per 15 minutes, you know? So it's like you can't really
But just
rely on her to just.
hypothetically, she just decides she now does 5 takedowns a fight. Like I'm not saying it's a thing, but like that's the only way I could really rewrite. Like
Oh,
for
yeah,
me,
yeah. I see.
for me
Okay.
to arrive at minus 200, I'd either have to assume I is kind of aging out. Women just don't age out the same way men do, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, because they're not getting like concussed as much, you know? Um,
Yeah. And the
like they're not
athletic,
taking as much like it's just men get like knocked the fuck out, and just I feel like the head trauma is so much worse. Where like women don't hit as hard unless if you're fighting like Amanda Nunez, you know?
And these two have both been around a fair while. But Jennifer Meyer's younger than I thought she was. I would have fucking I thought she was like 40.
How oh, I thought she was like, okay,
32.
she's like 33, 32.
Oh, actually, I was younger before. I thought they were both like 40 for some reason. And like honestly, I feel like Calderwood. Yeah, I have never liked Calderwood because she has nothing off her back, and there's a bunch of other issues. But I think in terms of like pure minute winning volume, Calderwood probably like the
Oh
best
yeah.
women's strawweight fighter, a women's flyweight. Sorry,
Yeah, as far as just like
just
she's
doing
up there
shit
with like the
standing.
volume on the feet for sure.
There's like Chukagian, her, like even like Shevchenko doesn't really do that much. Obviously, yeah,
Calderwood pretty
Shevchenko.
much outlands everybody. It's mostly because of her kicks, you know, like she lands a lot of kicks, but she pretty much outlands everyone.
Probably, but kicks are just overpowered in the women's meta game because like punches just don't do as much.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, no, I think we're on the same page here. Like I think it's also like dogger pass. Like I also think just like honestly, I don't always like to say this, but oh, it looks like it came in a bit, but I feel like it goes the distance was like in the mid minus 200s for a while, and it like did shoot up a bit. But I feel like this is like 80% goes the distance. I respect both girls as um from a durability
Durable.
standpoint, and I just feel like Maya like could make I don't know, like maybe a Maya submission or something, but I doubt it. Like I's a decent grappler.
I always remember I had fucking go the distance in Calderwood versus Maya.
Oh yeah.
I was like, because Calderwood KO is like fucking plus 500, and I was like, that's stupid. I'm just going to bet go the distance because it was
And
like
then the
minus
sub happened.
200. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, but the issue was that the market priced Calderwood KO as like the main way it finished, and I was like, that is clearly absurd.
Yeah, but you didn't realize like another mispriced maybe
Yeah, the
outcome.
fucking guard sub.
Yeah, yeah,
That was truly special.
yeah. Um. All right, moving on to Giles and Duplessis. What do you think here?
Um, I took some Giles partly because I just have the sheer burning hatred of Dricus Duplessis.
Yeah,
Actually, if it's still Giles isn't particularly reliable himself, I do think I would lean Giles as being the favorite just because I feel like he's a bit better. He's a bit kind of better everywhere, but like because and yeah, Dricus, I'm not sure because like against Perez, he looked garbage for the first 3 minutes, but I'm not sure if that was octagon wrinkles or he just is that bad. And like his level of
it was a
competition.
quick sample too. It was just a few minutes. Yeah,
Yeah, I was just annoyed at that because I had the over and Perez, and they were both like fucking like I had like plus 130 on the GTD and plus 150 on Perez to win, and then they were both looking incredible, and then Perez just dies.
yeah.
And like yeah, Perez has historically been able to take a beating, but like I don't know, I feel like Giles kind of has a skill edge everywhere, but Giles is also an idiot. But they're both kind of idiots. Like either of these guys could just jump a really stupid guillotine, and like Plessy's grappling just seems like he's used to being the best grappler in his shithole competition. And it wouldn't shock me if you just see some very bad grappling decisions. Because, like, Giles has kind of underperformed, but he's generally 1 minute in the UFC, apart from our boy Kraus. Like, yeah, against Mearshart. Yeah, Mearshart and Cummings are both decent guys, and he won both rounds against them, more or less.
Yeah,
Um,
his Delize win is also looking pretty decent now. Like Delize's not bad.
yeah. And, like, yeah,
Um,
generally, it's just like, Giles, they beat. Cummings, both Cummings GM3, he was up rounds against them, so it's like, yeah, even like Mearshart's not bad. Like, obviously, he lost, but he's not a bad fight to lose like that, in my opinion.
d- um, I need to. This is like I think one of the three I need to tape, but like I know both guys obviously, but does Duplessis does he grapple often? Like, isn't he just kind of like a leg kicky striker sometimes?
He has a bunch of subs, but it's mostly club subs and just people who just
Yeah,
cannot fucking grapple. Like he
yeah,
enjoys it. Like he guillotined a bunch of guys in like EFC, but it's EFC.
yeah.
Yeah, he just kind of kick people a bit. Yeah, every time he got pulled into an actual like extended grappling sequence, he tended to look pretty shit. He's like solidly opportunistic. It's just not particularly. Yeah, I just don't. I feel like if we actually get extended grappling sequences, like Jim Giles has been subbed by GM3 and by Cummings, who I'd both take pretty comfortably over Duplessis in like a grappling match.
Yeah, I need to look into the grappling a little bit. Like Giles was like my knee jerk lean,
It's just
but
hard to look into the grappling because Plessy doesn't really have that much positional grappling. He just kind of kicks a bit and then he gets a guillotine.
yeah, yeah,
There just isn't really much positional grappling of him on the regionals, which isn't like he had a few random back takes, but like there just wasn't much where it was against somebody who clearly knew what they were doing.
yeah, yeah. I'll look into him.
EKD seems a little interesting, but also just I feel like they're both Giles is kind of a head case,
Yeah,
and like I
um,
mean, Giles has kind of put it together lately, but God knows.
yeah. I just need to look into it. I just feel like Giles is like much more proven, and I feel like he's hard to score a lot of offense on. Like he's pretty hard to take down. He's hard to land like a lot of head strikes on. And Duplessis, like I don't know. Um, yeah, like I need to look into it, but I was just kind of leaning Giles a little bit, but who knows? But moving on to like probably one of the most anticipated fights on the card, um, Ryan Hall and Taporia. I wrote like a novel on this. What do you think?
I think this fight is very stupid. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
I I just don't we just don't know enough about Superior and how he reacts to the what Ryan
yep,
Hall is. Like
yep,
he could just kill him with like a fucking flurry of crazy hooks in 90 seconds, and I'd be like, all right, that makes sense. He could also like go fend 30 seconds waiting forward, Hall drops to guard, then Topuria is like, fuck yes, I'm diving in there. And from there, would he mind his P's and Q's? Would he go for fucking leg locks of his own? Would he what Topuria would do in like a
yep,
guard grappling situation? I have no fucking idea. Like if he gave me a grappler of Topuria's level against Hall, who I trusted to actually just not do anything stupid, I would
yeah,
be fine. But do we know enough about Topuria? And like, he's a young guy, he's used to being able to kill people, so it's like, yes, is his mindset going to be in the right place here? Like, yeah, if I could control Topuria like a video game and just like have him like punch Hall, stay away from the guard, reset as much as possible, and just mind his p's and q's. I think he'd be able to cover his line, but like we really do not know enough about what he's going to try doing here.
yeah. I think that
And
like the main reason this is hard is like, is he going to follow him down to guard, or is he going to just keep it on the feet and do a stupid Ryan Hall striking fight? Where like Hall, I know he's like goofy on the feet and stuff, but it's like a really wacky style, so it's hard to land on him. So he can like, you know what I mean? Um, so like I don't even know what Taporia is gonna do, which makes the fight hard. And then like you said, depending on what he decides to do, I don't think we know exactly how he'll respond because I like I don't know. I wouldn't be he might be able to just float on top and be fine if he goes down there, but I just wouldn't be comfortable with him at his line if he decides to grapple with Hall. Like I just feel like he's pretty untested against someone like Hall. You know, um, I think Hall will eventually get shut down, and this might be the fight. But it's really hard because like he's a very unique type of style. You know, I yeah, like his. I feel like Zalal even like got close to like some type of like submission attempts, and he like changed position a little bit. You know, where if Hall put in like a back take or something, it wouldn't be that shocking to me if they were like kind of scrambling on the mat. And who knows if Taporia can deal with like the sweeps of Hall. Like he might be able to, but I have no idea. You know, um, and on an unknown, this is way too unknown to play minus 250. Wouldn't you agree?
yeah, 100%. Like again,
Yeah.
it's just, and also it's like even if Tapiro follows him down, if he follows him down, is he gonna fucking mind his? Is he gonna fucking just
Yeah.
play full guard and relax, or is he gonna fucking try passing? Is he gonna go for guillotines? Like he does love his guillotines,
Yeah,
and like yeah,
then I see a lot of people being like, "No way, Taporia goes on the mat," or like he's going. It's like, how do you know? I have no clue. I don't. I have no idea what he's gonna do. I I tend, if I had to guess, I would say like I have a feeling he's probably gonna try to strike and maybe like maybe like follow to the ground, but like kind of stay out of guard and stuff, and then just like invite him back to the feet. I think he'll probably try to do that, but who the fuck knows? Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Um, but also like one thing I was gonna say, I think if this stays striking, like I know Elkins and Maynard aren't good strikers and everything, but Hall's really, really hard to hit. Like he's defended strikes at 75%, and he like absorbs less than a strike per minute. And I know like Taporia is more explosive and stuff, and like, but the thing is like whenever you chase him down, he just falls to his back. So this could become. I'm just not sure Taporia will be able to land at will on the feet. Like I think he's more dangerous as a striker for sure. Like Hall just kind of does his evasive kicking game, but I'm not sure Taporia is just going to land all that often on the feet because Hall just, whenever you actually close the distance to land, he just falls over. And so then it's going to be a thing. He's like inviting him to guard. It could just be like a really goofy fight. Um, because like, don't you think the striking could even just kind of look weird too?
Oh yeah, my I'm hoping that whoever wins does it in round one by something crazy, which gets posted on fucking social media, and we just keep setting up the fade. Like that's actually kind of annoying about Ryan Hall. I was looking forward to like that Lamas spot was fucking Lamas against him at Evans was fucking incredible. Now we got this spot where it's just like I don't know, I don't care. Just
Yeah,
like I feel like Hall is the side just based epistemically, just based on what we don't know about Top Furia, but
yeah.
God.
My thoughts on it are, I think this is what I think. I think from a money line point of view, I think Hall's the side just because we have no idea. And I could conceivably see him getting a submission. I could conceivably see him winning minutes on the mat if he just like gets a back take or something. Probably not, but he could. And it's not like impossible for him to have moments on the feet. So he could like compete anywhere, you know? And we also just like, it's a big unknown for sure in general, this fight, like how Taporia responds. So I think it's possible Taporia like easily like ends up covering his line, but with all the question marks, I think the side of the money line's Hall. But I think I like Taporia by decision a lot, and the reason why I like that, it's like plus 280. The reason I like that is because I don't think he could submit Hall. Like you'd agree, right? I doubt he's going to submit him.
I mean, he does like his
And
guillotines, club sub spots, fucking yeah. You never know, but
it
yeah,
would be predicated on striking, though. I feel like
yeah,
I
most
would be pretty
likely.
shocked if he just subbed him. Like, I mean, he wasn't even really close to subbing like Zalal or
He
anything. And
came
Hall's,
close to something Zalal. Come on, he was fucked. There were some spots there where he was almost dead.
yeah, but I don't know. I just don't think he's going to submit Hall, and so you're kind of relying on a standing knockout. And I just feel like the recency bias of Damon Jackson getting that knockout is probably there, and also Hall, like I said, he defends strikes at like 75%. So like if Taporia like ends up dominating, I like Hall doesn't go to war. Like he just falls out. Like he he runs. He literally runs. And so I don't think Taporia knocking him out, like his inside distance is plus 130 and plus 100 in some spots. And like, do you really see 50 finishes happen when a submission is pretty unlikely, in my opinion? I don't know. I don't. And Hall's never even been finished before. So I think Taporia decision is actually like one of the better plays on the fight.
Yeah, I can agree with that logic. It's just I don't know, and also Ryan Hall. It's kind of like his money line is he does. It's between his like crazy spin kicks and his leg locks. It's like even if he's like outmatched in terms of how the fight goes, it's like he can always fish a finish out of his ass somehow or a big fight changing moment out of his ass. It's like how
For sure.
big a dog could you make him?
For sure. And we don't even know like how his I like my instincts, like if I had to guess, I feel like Taporia can probably stay away from like most of what Hall does and probably keep it on the feet. And you know, I trust him much more on the feet, even if Hall has like a wacky, hard kind of game to deal with because he doesn't really engage. So like I think he'll probably evade Hall and kind of just like keep it striking where he can probably win. But I still just I don't know. There's because he might just fucking dive into his guard and I don't even know what's gonna happen. But I think people get what we're saying here though.
Yeah. 100%.
Um, Pereira and Nico Price is a fun fight. What do you think here?
I think the RTD might be the spot just because I think Price is pretty reliable to come forward. Let's just check. I saw some pricing earlier, which was crazy, but I'm not sure if it's lasted. Nah, I think fuck that. I like NKO at plus 100. Obviously, either of them could go for a fucking annoying club sub, but I just think Price should come forward and Pereira should be able to unleash. And like Price's chin has had like this random mid-career renaissance, but I feel like it should fuck up again. And like, yeah, Pereira, Price is just not very good at MMA, and the Cerrone draw is kind of aged terribly. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, and even the Luke thing was like, yeah, Price is winning minutes against Luke, but actually, even that performance is kind of aged weirdly because like Luke is. It looked like Luke could be done. Then like he's kind of ripped off another 2 wins since then, and like I don't know. It's hard to know where Price is at, really. I think NKO plus 100 is salt. I think Price should come forward and that should get counters out of Pereira and someone should fall over eventually. And hopefully
yeah.
they're not club subbed.
What's the ends by KO?
Plus 100-ish over here.
Oh, that's really good. I think.
Yeah, they're
Usually
putting up.
Nico's gone to the distance. I think a couple times lately. So like it used to be like minus 300 or 400 on his goes doesn't go the distance.
And they all the
And
issue
so
is they
this
both
seems like a
have
discount.
like a bunch of random subs, which kind of offset a bit, which is just like I suppose you're taking the risk. Like I don't know. Like I imagine Pereira's more like the sub Nico, but like I remember with men's verse price. It was like ends KO was like fucking at one plus 180 or something like that. So like they had the sub like massively favored for some strange reason. Like Nico
Yeah,
Price submission was like the most likely betting outcome. It was like what the fuck?
yeah,
Like how the fuck does
um,
Nico Price sub to men's?
yeah. I think, yeah, I pretty much agree with you. Like, I think Michelle's the rightful favorite, and I do think like Price coming forward, he'll probably get bombed on because like Pereira is a lot better at distance management, where like Price kind of has to come into close quarters. I feel. Um, Price does hit very hard though. Like we got to remember that. So like this could be volatile. Like he could hurt Michelle, wouldn't you think?
Oh, yeah, that's why like against KO, I don't want to deal. I don't want to deal with
Yeah,
either of the money line. Like I think Prey could cover his money line, but like yeah, Price just hits stupidly hard.
yeah, yeah. I think we're on the same page there. Griffin and Condit. I think this is like I don't know. Even though I played Griffin recently, I historically haven't been as high on him, but I don't know. I've come around on him a bit. Like he can compete on the feet. I still don't think his striking. I still am just uncomfortable with him on the feet. Like unless if he lands something big, I just don't totally trust him to win minutes. But he fights hard. Um, he does land like that double leg, and he actually lands like a decent amount of takedowns per 15 minutes, and so that could help him here. I feel like in a fight that will probably be somewhat competitive on the feet, the takedown upside is probably why he's the favorite. So like I get the line. He has like takedown upside and whatnot, but I still don't totally trust. I was actually just taping this fight before we started, so I was about to look into kind of the grappling, but at least before I taped, I feel like I don't totally trust Griffin to just take someone down and control them for like minutes. Like even if Condit is sometimes susceptible to that, Condit will work up and stuff. And I still just don't totally trust Griffin to do that. And even against Alex Morono, when he could have done that, he waited till the third round and lost the fight because he dropped the striking. So there's a risk Griffin doesn't go to the takedowns, and I still don't totally trust him to like dominate with grappling, but I do think the possibility is there. So like you have to assume it could happen, an X percentage amount of times. Then on the feet, like I think it's kind of competitive, but I almost favor Condit on the feet. Um, I just feel like other than Griffin like knocking that one guy's ear off who was a terrible striker, he hasn't really ever looked that great on the feet. Like Imadaev was kind of beating him there. Morono was beating him there. And Condit still has like a ton of volume and whatnot. Griffin could land something big, but I don't know. Condit could too. What do you think?
Condit, that's just after that like McGregor fight, it was kind of weird because like Condit did nothing in round one, then like switched on when he got the knockdown at the end of round one.
Yeah.
Like Condit just looked disinterested in shit when he got this knockdown, and suddenly he just woke up. And I'm just like, maybe you could see another dynamic here where Griffin's just a bit too enthusiastic, and Condit's like, yeah. But also like Griffin, like against Kanan and Song Kanan, I did actually kind of I did think Song Kanan was actually looking good before Griffin killed him.
Yeah, like
And
Griffin
like,
hits hard. I'm just not sold on it. Like, when
oh,
is he comfortably? When is he beaten like a good striker on striking minutes? It doesn't happen often. It's usually like if he lands something big.
I mean, Mike Perry is his best like striking performance ever by like a massive margin. And also,
For
yeah,
sure, for sure, and that was a long time ago. He still hurt Perry too. Like a lot of it was because he hurt him.
and Thiago Alves fight was kind of similar to him. Griffin just kind of hurt his knee or something in round two.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is probably competitive. I don't know. It's hard to trust either of these guys. Condit, I'm not sure if Condit's chin still exists in the same way. Like I was kind of tempted by the ITD, but I don't know. I'm not sure if Condit still hits hard enough. I'm not sure if Griffin's probably not going to like advance if he does get takedown. So probably a takedown's probably going to be the end of the round. Um, I don't know. I remember Griffin ITDs actually been paid. The Griffin fight ITDs have finally been paying off after like this fucking insane streak of like absolute carnage GTDs.
yeah, yeah,
Like I lost a lot of money on Max Griffin ITDs for like that streak between like Griffin Melenda and Griffin Cowboy when like they were all fucking crazy wars with knockdowns.
yeah.
And like Griffin's opponent would just survive everything. It was fucked. But yeah, so like it's nice they're finally paying off, but like one of those paid off through ear removal, which wasn't exactly anticipated.
Yeah.
And against Song Kanani kind of looked bad. Yeah, Griffin just looked a bit shit against Song Kanani, in my opinion. I felt like Song was winning that fight. And
I
like
mean, I just feel like naturally you're going to get a little overrated after a first round knockout. I mean, that is a common theme. Like first round knockouts get overrated. And I don't know. I don't buy him just knocking Condit out. Like maybe he does, but Condit's pretty durable. And it's just like if he doesn't knock him out, I don't know. I don't trust him to like win extended striking minutes. Like maybe he could keep it close and steal a round or two, but I don't expect him to just like take over. So like I don't know. Like if you're betting him at this line, I think you're really hoping that he dominates with grappling. Like maybe he does, but I don't. I don't know. I'm not
if
willing to risk it at that line.
if Condit just can't take a punch anymore or something like that, that's not impossible. But like Condit's only a year older than him.
Condit, like, I don't know,
I know Condit
has Condit
historically.
really like when has Condit been knocked out? Like, I just feel like
Oh,
I
Maya
feel
hurt
like
him.
huh?
Oliveira was a club sub. Maya was kind of a club sub. He had that period where he's looking a bit iffy, and now he might be back. Like, yeah, historically, he's probably had
He
one of the
had a
best
really
chins
tough
ever.
schedule. Like Chiesa and Maya are just like back taking like grappling specialists. Like, I don't know, that's not applicable to really any of the matches at like middle class welterweight anymore. Like against other guys. And I don't know, Magny's tough, and then Oliveira, it was kind of like a back and forth little war, like volatile stuff. I don't know.
Also,
And then like he looked fine. I don't know. He looked all right against in his last two fights.
also, kind of my question is like Condit against Brown came out with the wrestling game plan. Max Griffin
Yeah.
really hasn't proven much against wrestlers.
Who?
Like Max Griffin, who's wrestled Max Griffin? Colby Covington ages ago. Like,
Um.
how
Oh.
was Max Griffin's takedown defense?
I haven't really like looked into it for a while. I think it. I don't. I
I
don't know.
think
I'm not
it
gonna
kind of
rely
exists.
on
Like Max,
Condit wrestling someone, but like
but
I
Condit
don't
did
know.
against Brown. Like it was his whole like thing. Like he wrestled him. Like he hit like a bunch of takedowns. He went for it. Was like his first option.
Yeah, Brown was like very tired and stuff in some of those situations, though.
Still, like the enthusiasm to
Yeah.
go for it and that kind of stuff. Like Griffin hasn't really been wrestled since Covington, and Covington fucked him up. And it's like obviously Condit's not Covington, but it's kind of a question mark because nobody's Griffin's just kind of had the same welterweight action fight for years.
Yeah. No, yeah, he hasn't like gone up against many people trying to grapple. I think didn't Ramiz try, or did Ramiz or wasn't Ramiz a grappler and didn't even like try a takedown? I think that's what was going on there.
Yeah, Ramirez was this meme like some it was like this meme fucking
I played Griffin
BJJ
over him, which is
specialist.
hilarious.
Yeah, same here. It's like good. We were both like, "Oh, Brahim Hodge is going to burn his gas tank going for like 5 random submissions and then just die after 2.5 minutes because that's what he did regionally." And
Yeah,
then Brahim Hodge comes out and has just decides to put on the world's worst shitty kickboxing display, and it's just like it's nice you've changed the game up from what you were doing regionally because that wasn't going to work in the UFC, but this is also not going to work in the UFC.
yeah,
So I was like, I feel like Brahim Hodge was better off doing his meme shit because at least that gave him potential to meme fights whilst doing what he did against Griffin, just loses him fights against everybody
yeah,
because he's bad at kickboxing.
yeah. Um,
Um, yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think I don't know. I don't like Griffin at his line. Pretty much like what I think about that fight. O'Malley and Moutinho. Did you take this Moutinho guy? I did.
Briefly, he sucks. Yeah, Mali should add to the Sugar Show. Yeah, like again, like I'm not plowing into minus 800 on the guy who has been essentially TKO leg injured twice. Um,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, like Mali, it's like it's obviously it's kind of an absurdity, but like, what is the number for O'Malley to injure his leg in a 15-minute fight?
Yeah, like it. Who
Like
knows?
3%, two? Yeah, I'm just giving it like 2 or 3%.
Yeah, like I mean, I think just like any, there's always like a 2 to 5% outcome of just something dumb happening, like a DQ or something. So like, yeah, like no value on the money line. Moutinho is like, I do think he's like super. He was cracking me up like when I was watching this fight. Dude, he just comes forward and just he's kind of like Cachoeira. Like he
Yeah,
just like he's fucking hilarious. He just comes forward and just swings, and he like doesn't care if he gets hurt, and he either hopes he knocks you out or that you get super tired and then he knocks you out. And I don't know. I just feel like he's Cachoeira. Like he's pretty much the male version of Cachoeira. I don't know. I feel like that could work against some guys. Like he does put up like a crazy pace, but I feel like against O'Malley, that's a really bad idea because like O'Malley's gonna land really, really hard.
I mean, the issue is he hasn't really got the chin to be Cachoeira. So,
Yeah. Well, and it's like men's, like
yeah.
Cachoeira's fighting a bunch of girls. So
Yeah, so she can just afford to be crazier and hit harder than everybody else, and it kind of works. Well, like, yeah, for me, Tino, it's just like he's just going to get cracked harder. I don't know,
yeah,
like if it gets like plus 1,000, like it's kind of like at a certain point you got to be like he's going to swing into volatility. Mali's fragile, yeah, but like yeah, Mali should be fine. Yeah.
yeah.
Hopefully
Um,
Moutinho doesn't do that like random like sometimes people get to the UFC and suddenly their chin is like 8 to 15 times better than it's ever been in their career.
oh yeah, that could easily happen. I do like O'Malley KO1 and KO2. I played a little bit of O'Malley KO1 at plus 140 on FanDuel. And I think I'll sprinkle on KO2 as well. I he lands like over 6 strikes per minute and hits really hard. And like if you haven't watched Batinho, he's like it's like Gaethje Cachoeira shit. Like he's absorbing like 8 strikes per minute. So if if that bet doesn't hit like the KO 1 or 2, like I still expect it to almost hit, even if it doesn't. Like Moutinho's gonna get cracked very, very, very hard often.
I'm just going to root for Moutinho to Alexander Hernandez this bitch.
He's so funny.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, I understand why this is happening, but still, I don't know. It just feels unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, why couldn't they've gotten Simone? Ricky Simone would have been fun against Mali.
Well, so apparently I was like looking into that. Apparently, like from what O'Malley said, and I believe him. He just said they gave him a list, and Simone was like the best guy on like the list of like 6 guys he could fight, and he picked Simone, but Simone couldn't make 135, or at least that's what O'Malley said, and O'Malley just wanted a 135 fight. So like I think it was just kind of like a weight class thing, like a logistical thing with the weight class. And I don't think like who knows, because like I know everyone like tweets like, hey, like I'll fight O'Malley, but who like how many formal offers did O'Malley actually get from the UFC? That's like totally different.
Oh, I'm sure, like even like flyweight, there would have been somebody who'd been a bit more better than Moutinho. Because
Yeah,
like,
yeah, probably, yeah, for sure. I do think this is like a fun fight to have as an opener because I mean there will be like like Moutinho will force action, and he's probably gonna just walk into his like a KO shot like very quickly. But
Yeah, because I mean, this guy's like, Piper's fighting in 2 weeks. Who else is fighting? Yeah, Piper's fighting in 2 weeks. He's coming up from flyweight. He probably could make 135. Match Snell. Yeah, and again,
yeah.
like, fucking Brandon Royval.
Oh, well, that would have been
Royval versus Malley would have been fucking incredible.
yeah,
I think Royval's fucking
um,
shoulder probably hasn't been returned to its socket yet, so
yeah.
that was a
Um,
very weird run, wasn't it? The Brandon Royval run has been very weird so far.
yeah. I still don't even know what to like think of him.
It's like
Um,
it's just this Johnny Walker-esque first streak of just activity. Like, yeah, like, okay, I know I fair faded them hard of Elliott, but like I've taken unders since, so I've been okay since, and it's just kind of like I do appreciate what Royval's doing. Like he's just kind of rolling the dice.
he's
Like,
tough, and he just like comes forward, and he seems to hit pretty hard for his size. You know,
yeah, he's an opportunist, and he does shit to make opportunism work.
he's definitely going to be a good guy to play when he's like plus 170 against some like up and newcomer like contender series guy who got like two quick finishes. You know, because he'll steer into volatility for sure. But
Just bet the dog in his fights, honestly, in my opinion.
yeah. Aldana and Kunitskaya. What do you think here?
I took some Kearney just because I feel like Aldana's kind of struggled against anybody who's cage pushed or gotten on top of her. And, like, Holly Holm was fucking mounting her and shit, wasn't she, from memory?
Yeah.
And, like, Holly Holm's not exactly like, Holly Holm has done that to Yana and she's done it to Megan Anderson. So, like, Kunitskaya not elite at anything, but she will come forward. She's gritty as fuck. And I just feel like she just wins minutes here. Like, it's possible she gets knocked out. She does seem a bit chinny for a woman, but, like, I don't know. Kunitskaya is pretty consistent to come forward and grind her out, and I just think she kind of wins minutes here. Like Aldana doesn't seem to respond well to people really getting in her face. Like even fucking Betch
Um,
had success there.
yeah, I think if you got plus money on like Kunitskaya, you made a good play. I think whenever I like once I watched it, I like now the line's pretty close, but I favored Kunitskaya slightly. Like once I taped like 55-ish%, maybe something around there. Um, the thing is that I wish I had more confidence in the takedowns and grappling of like to actually ground Aldana. Like I wish I had more confidence in Kunitskaya to do that, but her takedowns like she's just more interested in actually holding you versus the clinch. Like she doesn't really go for takedowns, and she's only landed one more than one takedown in a fight like one time. It was against Landsberg, but like generally she just kind of holds you there. And that was one thing I don't totally love. Like I wish she would ground Aldana because I just feel like she can win clear rounds. But I don't know. She wins like decently clear minutes on the clinch by just like holding you there and landing little like Usman type of like point scoring shit. Um, but so like I do think like she has the grappling upside though. Like Aldana I think has only landed one takedown or two takedowns in her UFC career. Um, so if someone lands takedowns here, it'll probably be Kunitskaya. So like that's one reason to like her a little bit, even though I don't totally expect her to get like a ton of grappling going because Aldana still does defend takedowns pretty well. And like I said, Kunitskaya just doesn't land that many. But I think it will probably play out in the clinch and at distance at times. Like I think it will just kind of go back and forth between that. Like I feel like and Kunitskaya just seems stronger in the clinch, so I feel like she can win the cleaner minutes, by just like holding her there and landing little shots. And then at distance, I think will actually kind of competitive, but I favor Aldana with like the head strikes and durability, where Kunitskaya will probably land like more like leg kicks and keep it close. But I just feel like Kunitskaya will probably win by a little more margins in the clinch than Aldana will at distance. Um, so that's why I kind of favor Kunitskaya a little bit. But I do think Aldana is more likely to like win by finish because I still don't like Kunitskaya's durability. Like she doesn't always respond to like strikes well, where Aldana is very, very tough.
Yeah, I was actually kind of thinking that, like Aldana, Aldana like KO hedging Kunitskaya my money line, but I was like Aldana KO is only plus 400, so fuck that. Like if
Yeah.
it was plus 900, I'd be down for it, but nah, plus 400 for women's KO, fuck that.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, like I feel like if it hits 15 minutes, yeah, Aldana's definitely a lot more like the finish, but also if it hits a 15-minute decision, I think Kunitskaya is a lot more likely to actually have like a clear decision win. Like
Yeah, yeah, for
I
sure.
struggle to see Aldana like I feel like an Aldana decision win is probably a split deck.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, like if Koenig can just get on top of it, can just get on top of it. Also, I like Koenigskaya's gas tank a fair bit more. Like she just doesn't fuck off.
She's very physical, like too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like
if like
she kind of out physicaled and out like hustled Vieira late. You remember?
oh yeah, that was a fucking absurd decision, but like yeah, again like judges are idiots, and that's the sort of thing judges like saying.
Yeah.
So
Um.
yeah, and also with recency bias, I feel like it's quite likely Yana Kutskaya will probably end most rounds just doing Yana Kutskaya shit because she doesn't fuck off.
Yeah. I mean, she goes through a process where like Aldana's just like kind of like bouncing around, throwing head strikes and stuff. Which like I don't know. Like I think the best way to describe this fight, if Aldana doesn't like sting Kunitskaya with like really good head strikes, which I don't. I know Kunitskaya, like I don't totally love her durability, but I just don't trust that outcome in women's fights,
Yeah,
like in general. Even though I do think it could happen here, but if she doesn't do that, I don't trust her to win. Like if she doesn't like stagger Kunitskaya with some head strikes, like I just feel like she'll probably not pull away with the striking then, and then she'll probably get clinched up for at least what, like 5 minutes of the fight, at least. So yeah, so that's why I kind of like Kunitskaya.
yeah, and like Vieira was kind of very perfectly competitive with Aldana on the feet before she got knocked out, kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, just kind of I'm not really sure. Aldana is like how much stock can you put into a KO possibility? I don't think much, and yeah,
yeah,
Pennington pulled it off. Holm ground, like, the fact that Holly Holm was making it look that bad off her back is pretty big indictment for me. Like even like
yeah.
Holly Holm was a pretty
Holm is like underrated with her little clinch takedowns and shit, though.
yeah, but
Um,
she's hit them and used them on Megan Anderson and Irene Aldana.
yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, Megan Anderson possibly the worst grappler in the sport.
Yeah,
Holly
I
Holm,
mean, especially for like someone who got a title fight.
yeah, exactly. So it was like there's Holly Holm's underrated clinch takedowns when he worked on two girls.
Yeah.
And like,
Um,
and Pennington pulled it off. And like, again, it's one of those things that maybe if Kunitskaya gets to fight against Aldana and gets to clinch, maybe she can hit her clinch takedowns and that kind of shit because like Aldana can't really deal with it. Because
yeah,
like, Aldana, I mean, Kunitskaya struggled to take down Landsberg, who was, I mean, actually, took Landsberg a bunch. And like, Landsberg's solid. Renault's always gritty and hangs in there. I don't know. Lad was just better at her, better than her at that game.
well, Lad's the female goat, so
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But but like being a grindy grappler and going against better grappler, just it's kind of a non-starter. So like, there's no real shame to losing to Aspen Ladd and should have losing to Vieira.
yeah,
So yeah, I think this guy's more like to pull off a dominant win here, but God knows. And like, plus 400 for women's KO is just stupid unless it's Cyborg or
yeah,
Nunes. Like, Aldana hits hard, but come on, plus 400.
yeah. I Yeah, I think Kunitskaya money line. I like, and I like her. I like her decision line actually because I really rate Aldana's just like toughness. And I don't really think Kunitskaya is a finisher. So her like decision line plus 175 I like, and I also like Aldana no scorecards. I don't. Let me look. I remember I'd seen it.
I didn't like how dominant Holly Holm was positionally though for the GTD, just because like Holly Holm isn't exactly traditionally a massive grappling threat, and she was like destroying Aldana.
I was watching it. She was like shrimping back and getting back her guard, like, and I just don't think Kunitskaya is really a finisher, like on the mat. Like I see your understanding, but I don't know. I still, I'd be pretty surprised if Kunitskaya got a finisher. But like
Yeah, I agree.
I get it. But
Holm versus Aldana is honestly last year's probably the most mispriced fights. That kind of came out of nowhere. Like I remember, I think a bunch of us had Holm just because it was like, I don't know, Holm could probably a bit more. I trust Holm's cardio more, but then she
yeah, I
just
think we leaned
destroys
her
her.
slightly, but yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think I was like, I had more goes the distance than Holm, and I was like, and Holm, like, I think I lied better after 2 minutes. I just like fucking dumped like 5 units on him. I was like, yeah,
I
Aldana's fucked.
that was one of my biggest live bets I ever made because it was like 2 minutes in, it was very clear to me. Like I know that's not a big sample, but just like the way she, because I thought she could clinch her up, but just the way she was just like handling her on the feet and like just putting her up against the cage, and I don't know, she wasn't able to land on Holm either, and I was like dumping money because I think it was only like minus
Yeah,
140 after the first couple minutes, and I was even after the first round, I think it was like minus 160, and I was like, that was like a borderline 10-8 round, and like
this is a woman who
Aldana
doesn't
doesn't
get
win
tired,
clean rounds, you know.
and Holly Holm is a woman who doesn't get tired.
And she doesn't even get hit often, you know. So it's like what's gonna happen? Like I don't know. But I remember that was like one of my biggest live bet spots, and just like a finish against home would be like very hard to pull off too. So um, yeah,
Yeah,
funny you bring that up. But
I
moving
kind
on
of
to Hardy and Tuivasa, uh, heavyweight fights involving Tuivasa's Australian, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So I'll let you take this up your alley.
Honestly, I don't really have much of an opinion here. Like, I know people are saying Tuivasa, but like the issue of Tuivasa was his best striking skill sets mostly based on his like knees and elbows, and Hardy will be a lot bigger than him, a lot more athletic. And like both of
Yeah.
these guys have pretty inconsistent cardio gas tanks. Like Tuivasa's got like two decisions where again, Tuivasa went to a decision against what's his name, Ivanov, and like Tuivasa Arlovsky is the best performance for Arlovsky of Tuivasa's career by a massive margin. This in terms
Yeah.
of like actually beating like Arlovsky to a striking decision, like a fairly clear one. Like it was close, but it was clear. But because how many guys have really been able to do that at heavyweight?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like when he had that, but then he had like Spivak and all that, where he looked garbage. And like I think watching Spivak fight, I think Tuivasa struggles a lot with straight punches from a bigger, longer guy. Which Hardy's might not be the deepest swing, but he's bigger, he's faster, he's longer, and he'll feed them through the middle. So I kind of think I favour Hardy to win the early going. Also, I'm kind of
For
concerned.
sure. Yeah.
Also, I'm kind of concerned because I feel like Tuivasa's leg kicks are very hard. Like, Hardy's what 3 inches taller, 5 inches longer. So like, and yeah, Hardy fights a lot longer than Tuivasa does.
Yeah.
So I kind of lean Hardy, but then it's the question of like, is Hardy's cardio going to fall out? And it's like, it did hard against Tybura, but it was okay against Castro, and it was okay against Volkov. So I mean, yeah, Volkov he definitely wilted, but it's Alexander Volkov, and he hang out to lose the decision. So I think Hardy's probably the pre-fight play because I feel like he has more immediate success. I think they're both overrated as hitters, and
Yeah.
like they both kind of have quitter. They both have kind of had quitter moments, so it's kind of hard to trust the both of them.
Yeah.
So God, yeah, I kind of lean Hardy, but like, yeah, God knows.
Yeah, I literally have. I really don't have much to add. I pretty much agree with everything you said. I just feel like especially, I think he'll get off to an early lead. You know, so like if his cardio starts to kind of like fall or kind of starts to slow down a little bit, I feel like you could probably bail out. You know, so there isn't like a ton of risk, and I do like respect Hardy's just ability to not get hit clean on the feet. You know, especially like early because like the Tabora finish was more like ground stuff, you know, and so yeah, like I think Hardy will probably get off to a big like a lead. I feel like he is faster, longer. He's probably like improving more too. He looked really good against Tabora like before that, but I do like worry about Hardy. I feel like sometimes his like gas tank management, like he'll really go a little nuts early. He's had some fights where he's like managed it a little better than others, but I don't like him late, which I mean kind of goes back into the live betting thing. But yeah, I feel like at plus money, Hardy's probably the better play, but it's still like heavyweight, and both these guys are kind of bad on the mat. Like if one of these guys gets on top of each other, that could be pretty funny. It could be like the end of the fight.
I'd probably take Hardy, assuming that they're both like, no, Hardy's not gassed. I'd probably take Hardy in the grappling match because at least Hardy seems to be trying to improve. Tuivasa was just proud of his ignorance.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't be confident in either guy in a grappling match. It would be, like, be a shit show.
I,
Hardy, like Hardy does some decent things at like getting his hips back and stuff, but when he was actually grounded versus Tabora, he did not look good.
I
But
also,
yeah,
I also just I just don't like how Tuivasa's game functions against a bigger, taller guy. Like he's just very elbow and knee and flying knee and that kind of and leg kick kind of thing, where it's kind of a compact game.
yeah,
So just like somebody who's throwing big, fast, hard, straight punches down the middle, it's like it could just scare him off, kind of, but also could just prompt them to just go crazy, and then like it becomes a 50-50.
yeah.
Um,
Um,
I picked Struve against fucking Tuivasa because I thought Struve would like show some interest in the sport of MMA, but Struve just looks fucked. So I don't really take much out of that. But like, if he gets
yeah,
Struve, like Tuivasa showed willingness to cave push, like he showed a little bit more intelligence,
he did against the cage. I remember. Yeah,
and also played Hunsucker against Tuivasa because Hunsucker was plus 500 and it's heavyweight.
yeah.
Remember Yaya Stanho? I almost forgotten about that fight.
What's up?
Yaya Stanho against Castro,
Oh,
the plus
yeah. I
300
forgot
guy who
about that
came back
fight.
from nowhere.
Yeah.
Why can't that happen more often than heavyweight? Why couldn't that happen to Tuivasa?
um, but yeah, I don't know. I think we've talked about this fight enough. Like moving on to Burns and Wonder Boy. What do you think here?
Uh, like the under. It kind of
Yeah,
depends what Burns does. Like if Burns decides to fucking do fuck all, Wonderboy will happily do fuck all with him. But I feel like if Burns is trying to maximize his own win condition, he has to come forward and see what happens and roll the dice.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm assuming Burns will just this all play the Luke game against Wonderboy as much as possible, but Luke has an A plus 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 chin and Gilbert Burns has a C minus chin. And like
yeah,
consequentially, I think Burns probably has a bit more explosive upside. Like not as he's probably not as gritty. He's not as anywhere near as gritty as Luke is, but he has probably a bit more like random one shot kill potential. So like I'm hoping Burns bites mouthpiece. Like Burns has come out pretty hard in his recent fights, in my opinion. He came out hard against Woodley. He came out hard against I think that Woodley fight should have probably ended inside the distance. He had like what he had the first round knockdown, fucked the eye up. Had like didn't Woodley get saved by the bell at least once from a submission?
yeah, yeah,
The Usman he came out hard. Yeah, Usman he seemed to just kind of go, all right, I'm fucked here. I need to swing into Meme Town. He did swing into Meme Town, which I'm
yeah,
happy with. So hopefully he takes a similar lesson as he did against Usman, where he just swings into Moontown.
yeah.
And if Gilbert Burns gets actual top time on Wonderboy somehow, he could and should probably finish him because like Wonderboy has never shown any ability to grapple, and Gilbert Burns is like legitimately world class.
Yeah. From a money line point of view, it's hard to know just because like it's kind of a weird fight because I could see either guy looking like minus 300. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like if Burns can't ground Wonder Boy or keep him there, like if Wonder Boy just happens to be able to work back up, like Wonder Boy's probably going to look minus 300. Like the only other win condition there for Burns will just be like memeing a right hand and knocking Wonder Boy out, which I mean, Pettis memed him, but it's like generally if you try to strike with Wonder Boy with the way Burns strikes, like being aggressive and shit, it just brings out the counters and Wonder Boy is going to dominate you. So like it comes down to the grappling, but then like at the same time, like Wonder Boy has not really dealt with many grapplers. It's almost kind of been crazy. Like if you look at his career, um, he's only the last time he had a takedown attempted on him was like 4 years ago against Masvidal, and it was like two half-assed attempts off just kind of like being discouraged on the feet. Like they weren't like real takedown attempts. And then before that, so like really, I would say the last time he really faced a grappler, kind of who like tried to take him down, Woodley took him down one time on one attempt in the first fight and like nearly 10-8'd him on the mat. And then because Woodley has no cardio, he didn't shoot another takedown the rest of the fight. That which is fucking hilarious to me. And then the second fight, Woodley got him down one time on two attempts, and he had like less success. And Wonder Boy worked back up, but it was because his back was against the cage, so he kind of had a barrier to get up. So like, I don't know. The last time someone tried to grapple him, it was three attempts over the course of 50 minutes, Woodley and Wonder Boy. And there was like two takedowns, and one of them was a 10-8, and one of them was like a minute and a half of control, and he got up because of the fence. So it's like, That's what we're going off of. It didn't look good, but at the same time, it was like 5 years ago. So I don't know. And Burns will at least attempt like he attempts like 6 takedowns per 15 minutes. That's just a higher frequency than Wonderboy has ever really faced. And I think Burns is a better wrestler than anyone he's faced too. Like even Woodley, which some people might disagree with. But I pick like I think said before the fight, like I thought Burns was a better wrestler than Woodley, and he did out wrestle him. Like not just like out grappled, he out wrestled him. So yeah, like it's really I don't know. It's going to be a thing of like can Wonder Boy stop takedowns, and someone's going to be minus 300 depending on it. Um, and then like as far as the under goes, I do like the under. I think it's plus money. I just feel like Wonder Boy always opens up whenever you come at him, kind of like you were mentioning earlier. The only time he does staring contests is when it's like low output guys who do nothing, like Till and Woodley. Any other fight like Luke and stuff, he really opens up, and I don't rate Burns' chin. And like I said, so that's one reason I like the under. I also like the under because Burns might kill Wonderboy on the feet early, and I like the under because if Burns gets him down, I don't trust Wonderboy on the mat.
Yeah, like Burns is legit elite. Burns, yeah, and Burns does crack, and I'm just hoping Burns swings into volatility because I think that facilitates the under. I'm just hoping like if Burns just decides to accept the decision loss, it'll be kind of annoying.
Yeah,
Then it's not impossible if Burns decides to, but it's like you're not going to get knocked out, but you're not going to what do you get? Try leg kicks on the outside of Wonderboy. Have fun with that.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we pretty much agree on that. And then going on to the main event, Poirier and McGregor. I think the first time this fight got made, I think we kind of agreed, like we understood why McGregor was a favorite at the time, but we weren't willing to play his line at like minus 300 just because like a little bit unproven, gas tank issues, volatility, yada yada yada. Um, I it's one of those things where like the line might be right, but it is kind of crazy how he went from minus 300 to like the underdog in 6 minutes of fighting. Like I'm not saying it's like wrong or right. I'm just saying it is hilarious. Because we got like a 6 minute sample. Um, I don't know. I think the spot is Poirier live betting like after a round because I rewatched the fight. They both had success in round one. I thought Connor did like visibly bother him with a few shots, like especially he landed like an uppercut that seemed to kind of hurt Poirier a little bit. But Poirier is tough, and I don't know. I still think McGregor. Like I probably still favor McGregor to win round one, and I think he did win round one in the first fight. Um, After the first round in that fight, McGregor was the same line minus 300 as he was like his pre-fight line. So if you think about that, you got the same line on Poirier in round two, and you literally got like way less danger coming your way. Like McGregor's like one of his main win conditions was like way less, like the early KO. Um, but like I just feel like it's kind of the same dynamic here. Like I feel like it'll probably be a close line after round one. McGregor could maybe even become the favorite, and so you'd also have McGregor's like major win condition be gone, and it will like protect you if he happens to get the first round knockout, which I still think he can hurt Poirier early. But yeah, like as far as the fight goes, I think I'm picking Poirier to win just because I trust them down the stretch more. Like I think either guy can knock each other out early, but if this gets extended, I just don't trust Connor to really ever get a finish late. I do trust Poirier to get one, and I don't trust Connor to win the later rounds where I do trust Poirier. So it's like, yeah. But it's still gonna be like a scrappy, like high volatile fight for a while, and McGregor could still win.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. Like first time I said live bet around 7 minutes and a tiny sprinkle on Poirier submission. Literally the exact same thing I'm going to do this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you sidestep Conor McGregor just bum rushing him because like McGregor does do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like also it answers a few more questions about what McGregor's been up to. Because again, McGregor's coming off a lesser break than last time, but still, I think there's just irrelevant question marks about what McGregor's going to do. I do think it's
And like,
possible
does he
he.
have response to leg kicks this time? Because if he does, like, he might be okay. You know?
I'm a bit concerned he decides to wildly overcorrect on the pace thing and like goes slow, and so that, like, you end up with a surprisingly tepid fight. But I think Poirier probably won't let him do it. Like McGregor can probably like make his gas tank last longer, but he probably reduces his win equity.
Yeah.
It's like, you're better off rolling the dice from round one than you are having 3.5 minutes to 3.5 rounds of gas.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really help you that much.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I prefer Poirier's. I like Poirier's submissions. I feel like club subs decent possibility. McGregor does tend to gas. Like McGregor's traditionally been fairly durable, so like not necessarily going to see another KO like that again. Yeah, it's pretty much it. Like, just like bet Poirier because there's a good chance that if you get like either a McGregor flash knockdown, like obviously you don't want to bet into Poirier if he's like half dead, but like
Yeah. Yeah.
you get like a flash knockdown or something at the end of round one, you might get plus 200 Poirier again.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like, it would
Yeah.
not shock me if McGregor just had some big moment early in round one and bang, the live lines go right back to where they were.
For
Like,
sure.
McGregor and people love them from Conor McGregor, and again, like the later you bet into this market, probably the better you are at getting a Poirier price because McGregor money tends to be pretty consistent.
Yeah.
But
Except against Khabib, pretty much every other time. Like, a lot of
and
money
even
comes
then,
in
it
on
pushed
him.
in a fair, it moved in a fair bit, then it moved back.
Yeah. I
Um,
it's just one of those fights where, like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are writing McGregor off, and I'm not necessarily doing that. I don't. Where I'm dismissing him to a degree is I just don't trust him in a war. You know, where like Poirier, I trust in a war, and so even if like this might not become a war, someone might just end someone early, whatever. But there's if they fight 100 times, there's going to be a war where it gets extended into like the third round, and I would just rather be on Poirier's side, like as far as the prediction goes, if it just gets past there, and so that's kind of why I like him. Um, yeah,
Also, from a betting and sport point of view, I kind of want McGregor to win because I think there's more equity in the long
agreed.
term fade, and just generally, he just brings a lot more interest to the sport.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. I'm cheering for McGregor for like a fan perspective and just like a future betting perspective. I just think it would be better.
Yeah, like give me McGregor maiming Poirier, give me McGregor maiming Oliveira, then give me Max Holloway somehow plus 250 against McGregor in a year and a half.
Yeah.
And like,
Shifting
imagine
off
we
from
got like solid dog odds on Holloway against McGregor.
yeah,
That would be speed ridiculous. Like, I'd cap Holloway like minus 300 against McGregor because he's going to bring the fucking volume.
yeah, for sure.
And just
He's really changed since their first fight.
I do think it's possible that you actually do see Holloway like. If the McGregor Holloway somehow comes to fruition, I think it's quite possible you end up with a fucking ridiculous number on Holloway.
Yeah.
Even Oli Makayev or something. Like, if McGregor just memes Oliveira and memes Paulo Poirier, it's like, God, McGregor will probably be like minus 300 against anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of just hoping he gets because there's just a lot of good lightweights coming up. Like, and I mean, yeah, like I'm taking Makachev over McGregor, if that ever happens. But
Maybe like Sarukian or something, honestly. Like,
oh yeah,
fucking,
dude. So, I don't think we realized at the time, but is Sarukian and Makachev, are those like the two best lightweights in the world?
seems like it. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Um,
seriously, I don't think we like realized it at the time, but I mean, I think we knew Makachev might be, but like not really Sarukian. I knew Sarukian was like tough and stuff, but he's like really developing, and they're both. I mean, who would you? It's like anyone you name, I would probably take them straight up.
yeah. Also, my thing here is like, if McGregor wins this one, it probably means he sticks around. I feel like if McGregor loses this, there's a good chance you have like fights like, I don't know, McGregor Ferguson or something maybe, but like I think he just fucks off, and like I kind of want McGregor to fight like normal like non-hype lightweights because that's when you get all the crazy lines.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
give me fucking Dober, like fucking something like if somehow Dober versus McGregor happened, like plus 500 Dober, I'd be fucking happy with that.
yeah. Do you if McGregor loses, what do you think will happen? Just like from like a non-betting point of view, do you think he'll like stop?
Ferguson. or Diaz, Ferguson or Diaz if he's going to fight.
Yeah, I don't think he'll
Then
retire just because I feel like the Nate Diaz fight is still there, and I just feel like that's going to happen at some point. Like it might be like a one of those ordeals where they're both kind of like past it, you know, and it's kind of like almost like a sad thing, but it can still be entertaining for everybody. Um,
and like
I
yeah,
feel like that fight will happen before he retires.
I don't think that Diaz is the only one he can go for anyway. Like, I think like you could see
Oh no, for
Ferguson, you could
sure.
see Masvidal, you could, I think there's a bunch of like of has also ran like fun fights I can do with him.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, do you think he'll stick around? Like, I'm not saying, like, obviously, that he could still, if he loses and even if he gets brutally knocked out, like, there's fights for him still. I'm just saying, like, do you think he will? I think he probably will stay around.
I hope he will because it's good to have him in the sport because he brings more eyeballs and it's just kind of usually whenever he's fighting it's rare that he's going to be the value side.
Yeah, it is hilarious, dude. Like, I don't like always talking shit on other people's methods, but fuck it, I'm gonna do it here. But just listening to like what McGregor fight week, it is so funny how people like they're not like actual sophisticated betters, you know, but they'll be talking about like, oh, Connor's motivated Connor, like he's being mean now, so like I'm definitely gonna bet him. It's like what the fuck? Like if you think that actually matters going into a fight, you're a fucking idiot, you know?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just I do kind of hope Rafael dos Anjos gets the Poirier pulls out and we get RDA in against McGregor. He's the
Um,
substitute.
oh yeah, that fight was gonna happen in like 2016 back in the day.
Yeah, it was supposed to be instead of Alvarez.
Yeah,
I think RDA would have fucked him up, honestly. Pick of that prime RDA. Like McGregor could have landed the knockout, but like that sort of like Pedicera RDA would just have run over him eventually, in my opinion.
yeah, there's some grappling upside there. I still think Connor's an underrated defensive grappler though, and like he still can like fuck you up on the feet. So I don't know. I think that would have just been a good fight.
Yeah, but RDA would have fucking just made him work. That's my main concern. Like,
True, true.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
like
McGregor would have gotten
down the
up.
stretch, it could have been an issue for Connor.
Like, how many get ups does McGregor have? Like, I'm just not
Yeah,
saying he's going to be down. I'm not saying he's not like, what's his name? St. Louis's favorite son, Michael Johnson. Um,
yeah,
I'm not saying he's Michael Johnson, but like, RDA versus McGregor, if RDA can make 2 takedowns or 3 takedowns happen, he can probably make the third one stick.
yeah, yeah. It's one of those fights where like yeah, it's just there's definitely some cardio and grappling upside for RDA, but at the same time, I do think Connor would like defend that for a while and have a lot of success, you know. And
I just
then
think he,
that
I
would
think,
be a good fight. Like I wish we would have seen that. That would have been a really good fight. That like changed the division too. Like it changed everything.
yeah, well, yeah, it changes sports history to a certain degree.
Yeah, it's because it's like then we got Alvarez like getting a meme, and then Connor like had a really good. I played Connor versus Alvarez. Like I just I'm not sold on Eddie. I'm not as high on Eddie as other people. Different topic for another day though. But I just like don't think he's that great of an offensive wrestler, and I just thought McGregor was just gonna like tee off on the feet. But we got that, and then that kind of like went to the Floyd fight. You know, just like now we're here.
Yeah. And like, Alvarez is weird because he kind of relied on like he just didn't have the tools at range to really get on McGregor. And also like I feel like he's got dropped in like the first fucking solid punch and he just never recovered. Like
Yeah,
I'm not saying McGregor doesn't beat him at a fairly high clip, but I just feel like it's kind of like, the first like punch drops him and then like Alvarez just seems to shit himself.
yeah.
Like I think people forget with McGregor is just how fucking like big an event it is for the because like guys obviously you're fighting main events, but like you're going from being like a fairly popular fighter being paid $250,000 to being like ESPN headliner.
Yeah, like, and then like more than that, even.
Yeah, like
Just it's like a world event. Yeah,
you become a fucking global celebrity. Like you go from being like like how many people really cared about like RDA fucking Alvarez wasn't even on pay per view. It was on cable.
no, it was a fight night. Yeah,
And then fucking
was it on?
and
It was on
Alvarez.
FS1. It was on Fox Sports One. Yeah,
Yeah, and Alvarez then fights fucking Conor McGregor with fucking Tom Brady and shit in the audience, and it's just like holy shit.
yeah. Like there were some of the most like famous people in the world at like Madison Square Garden. You know, um,
And poor Chris Weidman got killed by Yoel Romero. Rip poor.
Oh yeah, yeah,
The triple knee. Great times.
yeah. Well, all right,
But
man. I think we talked about everything. But yeah, cool. We'll go. What's next week's card? It's
uh,
Makachev and Moises. Okay, we'll talk
why
about
the fuck
that.
has that been made? I just feels like waste of Moises. Like Makachev should
Oh
just
yeah, that's
handle him. Like Moises is actually Moises is actually coming along pretty well in my opinion.
yeah. It kind of seems like a fuck you type of matchup to him. Yeah, like he needs a finish, especially in a 5 rounder. But yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't
Moises
know.
can hang in there. Like Moises is tough as shit. Yeah, Moises is tough as shit. And he doesn't gas. Like yeah, Moises got beaten by what Dariush, and he got beaten by Magulov,
Yeah.
and he dominated
Um,
Bobby Green.
yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about it next week. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of a
mate.
weird fight. But I'll all right, man. I'll see you.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for
Yeah, good
listening.
to be back. Catch ya.
Bye.